Hello, my name's Claire Stalker-Booth, and today I'm going to show you a search I did for information on guided inquiry, especially for secondary school pupils that are gifted in looking at a topic of global issues. So up in front is the mind map that I did before I carried out the search. I then went to the Queensland University of Technology library website because that's the uni that I go to, and I went to their education databases and clicked on A+ Education. It comes up to the simple search screen, but I actually want to do an advanced search, so I'm going to click on that option. Now it's showing a previous search that I did, and I'll run through that. Okay, so what I wanted is information on guided inquiry, so I've entered that term. I also want it in secondary school, so I've entered in that term here. I also don't want it in science, so I've put not for science, and then I've added in not biology and not chemistry. I've also then made some limitations by making it full text only, and also limiting the year to 2004 to 2014 to get the most recent and relevant information. A downfall here is that I cannot add more nots in. I would have preferred to add a few more in at that stage, but I'll hit the search, and then you'll notice that it sort of briefly gives you that there's 10 results, and it takes you back up to the top of the search where you went. But if you scroll down, you'll notice that you start to get into actual results. Now, of these results, I've been through and looked at these before. I like to look at the abstracts because here it highlights the terms that I've used that have turned up. Okay, they're not next to each other, and it also highlights it within the title. What is also really good is that within the records it shows you the information that's needed for your referencing and your bibliography. So if I scroll down again, you can see that it gives all that information there so that I can put it in. And also what it does as well is it goes into the full text mode so that you can actually have a look at the articles as well when you're accessing through a database source that you can use, but not from outside in the general public. I'm just going to go back. So when I went through, I was looking through all the different articles and making my choices from skimming and scanning the abstracts. So I decided to look at the IB one because it was an area where they are looking at guided inquiry quite closely. I also decided to look at the evidence-based practice at Broughton Anglican College because it is one that's very close to where I actually work, and I know the reputation of the author, who was also a Teacher Librarian of the Year a couple of years ago. I've also looked at the guided inquiry because once again I know the reputation of Lee Fitzgerald, and I actually used one of her PowerPoints on the analogy of guided inquiry as a river, and also it mentions Dr. Ross Todd, who's very big in this area as well. I'm also then going to look at the continuous improvement, a case study. I'm not expecting to find a lot there, but it might have some issues and points that will be helpful. I'm not going to look at the educational leadership one because that's about self-improvement and self-inquiry. I'm also then going to look at the mathematics one, even just as a bit of an aside to see if anything does come up that could be taken across into the studies that I'm looking at. I'm also going to look at the transforming learning because SCAN is an Australian publication that I will be looking into. Once again, there's another one by Lee Fitzgerald, so I'm going to look at that one just to see if there's any differences. I'm also going to look at the one that's from Ross Todd because once again he's very keen on this area and has had a lot of interest and a lot of research that he has done around it, and it is based within Australia and he's worked there with the Victorian schools, and it also once again looks at the information search process. So you can see that by looking at this one database I've been able to make a lot of choices that are going to be what I think are relevant to the area that I'm interested in without having to do lots of trawling. And by using those limiters, the Boolean search terms in this case with A+ Education, that's what's helped to narrow the results rather than having to go through potentially hundreds if not thousands of results to find what I need. These operators can be used within other databases and other searching tools such as Google and Google Scholar, but I do find that this A+ Education has been very thorough at narrowing down the options. I hope this has been useful to you, and I look forward to your comments on my blog, The Musings of a School Librarian. Thank you.